Wow, what a turnout. Thanks for coming, guys. Like I said first off, can everyone at the back hear me okay? Is that, we're good? So, just a reminder to everyone, I said it in the advertisements that I posted, that this talk assumes that you've seen my previous talk. So I did a talk, I think it was May, and I've uploaded a video to YouTube. So check out the advertisement if you haven't seen it. Watch the YouTube video, because many of your questions about how to do the things you need to do and what you need to do, a lot of them are answered in this talk, in that YouTube talk I did. What this talk is going to go through is purely the bootcamp that myself and the group to my right over here are going to be running this summer. And what does it entail? And I'm going to introduce you guys. And at the very end of this session, we'll do a big question and answer. So if you have questions, hold them until the end, write them down, and we'll spend about half an hour, just all of us just answering everyone's questions. So let's get started. To start off, so what exactly is this program and what is it not? This program, the best way I can describe it is an intensive Navy SEALs style boot camp where you study for interview problems, you study the theory, you do lots of mock interviews, you prepare yourself for one single purpose, and that single purpose is to land an internship or a full-time job at a Silicon Valley company, a FANG company, by March. So if you're coming into the program and that isn't your goal, then maybe this program isn't for you, because I want to prioritize people that have that goal. Now, I'm aware that a bunch of you people may think about getting into one of these big companies and think that that goal is far too high. And in reality, your goal might be to get a smaller company, because you might think that that's something that's achievable for yourself, or you might think that that's more in line with what you want to do. So I'm going to try and convince you right now that you should still be trying to get into Google, and there's a good reason for that, even if that's not the company you actually want to work at. So the reason why is because let's say that the company you want to get to requires a certain bar to get in. So you might study over the summer, you might do everything you can to get into that company. But naturally, we're human beings. We don't often do too much work or more work than required. Usually we do just enough work. Usually we do just enough work that, if you guys can, that's where we want. Come in, guys. Usually you'll do just enough work to get into that company, but we're human beings, and you might slip up and you might not put all of that work in exactly, and you might just miss out because maybe you just didn't study hard enough to get in. And that's the same even if it was for a smaller company, because you might have thought about what it takes to get in and done just enough work to get in. But then let's say, hypothetically, that you apply and really study this summer to try and get into a company like Google or Facebook or Microsoft. That's going to require a lot more work. It's going to require you to put more hours, study much harder, and the bar's going to be much higher. And if you put in that work to get into one of these companies that is much harder to get into, then let's say the same situation, you slip and fall and you don't manage to succeed in getting into a big company like Google or Microsoft, but where you're at and the understanding of how to pass these interviews would be much higher than where you'd be if you were originally aiming for a smaller company. So in reality, if you want to get into those smaller companies and you want to have a 100% chance of getting into one of those smaller companies, then you want to be studying to get into Google, because then you'll definitely pass that smaller company interview. So regardless, I understand that people say they don't want to get in, but you should still aim for it and study to get in, because that's going to get you, it's going to basically definitely give you a job. So hopefully that convinces some of you that weren't convinced. Anyways, so last year's cohort. So I ran this with 52 people to start off with. And the program, people don't, like by signing up, you don't automatically stay till the end, like some of you might have seen in the application form. If you're falling behind and if you're not keeping up with the program, then you will be asked to probably study it in your own time, not a part of the group. If you feel like it's at a pace that's too fast for you, that's perfectly fine. I encourage everyone to download all of the material and study it at their own pace. We don't like remove the information from you. You can still study it. But basically, only 24 people out of the 52 finished, and of those 24 people that finished the program last summer, 20 of them got internships. And I would like to start this talk by introducing all those people, or some of those people who got internships. So if you guys can come up and stand in the line right here.
My name is Vic. I was in my second year, first semester when I did the RSP, and I got an offer from Optiver, which is a finance tech company. I'm also an international student, so if you guys have any questions about like visa and stuff and which companies accept like international students, so feel free to reach out to me.
Yep. Hey guys. Myself Shivam. I was in my first year, second semester, and I did OP, and after that I did RSP. I got an offer from Optiver, same international students. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me as well. Thank you.
So my name is Jungo. You can just call me Jun. So I got an internship offer from Google this year. I'll be working as a software engineering intern this summer. And I'm international as well, so yeah. So you guys now have 3 people to ask about
And what
those
course?
kind of questions.
And what course were you?
So I was doing OOP right before I did RSP. So I was at the second semester of my first year of study. So yeah, that's pretty much it. And then you.
All right, I'm Sean. I also was a first year before I did the RSP program. I was also studying OOP. After RSP, I should also profess and say the fact that I was pretty useless at programming before I did RSP. It's not a future that I thought was realistic. But then after I did it, I managed to get offers from 4 different companies, and I chose Australian Signals Directorate in Canberra.
Hi, I'm Shayla. I was in my first year, second semester doing OOP, and I got an internship offer from Amazon. So yeah.
Hey guys, my name's Hamish. I was also doing OOP last year when I signed up to Ravi's program, and I was able to land an internship at Optiver, a training company. I also got pretty far in the process with a couple other training companies, but ended up going with that offer. So yeah, looking forward to getting to know you all this year. Cheers.
Hey, I'm Charlie. I was also a first year. I ended up getting an internship from IMC. It's another trading firm in Sydney. Yeah, should be good.
Hi everyone, my name is Mun, and before RSP I've done ADSA. However, before uni I don't know anything about algorithms nor competitive programming, but thanks to RSP I got 3 offers, and I decided to intern at Google this summer, so yeah. Oh, and I'm an international student as well, so you got any questions? You got 4 people to ask?
Yep.
That's plenty.
Hey guys, the name's Costa. I was in semester 2 of my first year before I started RSP, met Ravi through OOP. I accepted an offer at Atlassian this year, and I guess like I'm probably not the best example for this. I did have quite a bit of programming experience before RSP, but I do want to stress that that won't carry anyone else in a similar situation through RSP, because all the algorithm and data structure stuff could be new to a lot of people.
So my name is Jolene, and I also, like most of them did, was doing OOP OOP in first year, second semester when we signed up to RSP. I got an internship offer with Google, and for the end of this year, and I'll be a step intern for them at the end of the year. And also got MedTech along with Min here, who she's currently doing it right now. Yeah, nice to meet all of you.
Yep, cool. Thanks for that, guys. So I'm going to bring everyone back on stage for some questions, because I know some of you will have some. So stay tuned for that. Until then, I'll get you guys to sit back down again, and I'll walk you through the whole boot camp. So the program works, and I think, and something that's, I think I mentioned before, but I'll repeat it. So all these students, along with myself, will be running the program together. So you'll be able to get the advice constantly all summer if you are in the program from all of us. So anyway, so this information session. So I'll first just walk through the step-by-step, the basics of the program. And throughout the program, there are certain levels that I'm going to explain, and certain levels require certain promotions. So I've kind of gamified what a boot camp is, and I'll walk through in depth about what those level promotions are. And throughout the program, whilst people are studying their algorithms and doing mock interviews, it's a requirement for all the students to be filling their details into spreadsheets, and I'm going to go through what those spreadsheets are. I keep pressing the wrong button. And at the end, I'm going to speak about signing up and what you guys need to do, some advice about signing up, and just some more information in regards to that. All right, so the program overview. So let's just walk through high level, what are all of the pieces of the study program across the entire summer. So these are the 4 levels. And basically, the reason why I decided to split the program up into these levels is because there's just too much information to learn. If you want to make sure that you have a thorough, complete understanding about all the different components required to land an internship or a grad job, and if you want to study all of it, I believe it's easier to set yourself milestones. So I have forced these milestones upon the students by having these levels that the students advance throughout the program. The center point of the program is we have a dedicated Discord server. Now, the Discord server is only for the people that are currently doing the program. If people leave the program, then they won't be on the Discord server anymore. The reason for this is because I try to keep a tight-knit group of people that have high energy. And if some people start to get disinterested, or they slow down, or they stop working, then a fear of mine is the students who are wanting to put the energy into the program will be surrounded by students who aren't putting energy in, and that might affect the students who are still going at 110%. So I want to keep the Discord server a place where the people that are still in the program can communicate. So in the server, there are students, there are the previous graduates. So along with the students who've just stood up, there are probably another 10, 15 students who are in the program that will also be on the Discord. Myself, and we have a whole bunch of previous and current interns who are working at Google, Microsoft, and Facebook as interns and software engineers full-time. Basically, a bunch of my friends from when I was an undergrad are currently working full-time, and I've convinced them to come on the Discord so they can answer people's questions if anyone had any questions for them. So that's the perks of being on the server, and it's where we conduct a lot of the activities. So one of the activities that is on the server is one of the channels on this Discord server is the Monday update or the progress report channel. So every Monday, so just like what you would need to do if you were working for a startup company, or if you were doing an internship, or you're working for a company, it's very common that you need to do daily or weekly stand-up reports where you talk about what you've done, any problems that you're having, and what you plan to do next. So I have noticed that that is a strong incentive to keep a team of people working forwards from my experiences. So I decided to implement that and test it out for last year's cohort. And I think it worked. I might need to ask them for some more feedback of whether or not that was a good thing. But so far, I think it was good, so we're going to go with it. And basically, every Monday, you will need to post your progress report to 2 different places. There is the Discord channel, but there's also a spreadsheet. And it's the same thing that you're posting. The spreadsheet basically makes it easier for the instructors and myself to see who is currently participating and who is not. Because if people stop participating, then we might need to have a chat to them to figure out if they're still keen on the program. And it's just easier for us to track. And the reason why we have the Discord server as well is because I really want to encourage everyone to use the Discord server. So we make it compulsory to post on both, just so everyone's staying engaged. So like I said before, the course is split up into different components. And one of the components is to study all the theory before moving on to any problem solving or mock interviews. And so the first portion, which is the hardest portion, we lost 50% of the entire course trying to progress to the first ranking, because the first ranking requires everyone to finish all of the theory within a month. And the reason for that is because there isn't enough time. You need to be ready for interviews for Google, for Facebook, for these big companies by March, and you can't spend the whole summer reading the theory because you're not going to have enough practice with the mock interviews and the leak code and the problem solving. So we need to get you to finish that in the first month, and this was the hardest part. So once you have gotten through that and you finish all the theory, it becomes the next 2 months becomes a constant leak code, so 10 problems a week. So every week you need to do 5 problems, and you need to be doing the problems in the fashion that I illustrated in the talk that I did in May. I talked in detail in that talk about how to do the problems and how to study the solutions. And on top of this, by the way, for all of this information, I have very detailed documentation that precisely explains what everyone needs to do. So if anyone feels like they still don't know exactly what to do, if you're accepted into the program, you'll get all of that documentation. And if you don't get into the program, you'll still get that documentation. So everyone gets it. Everyone will get all the information about how to do this properly. So every week you need to do 5 mediums, a minimum of 1 hard, and a few easies as well. So on top of that, every single week, all students need to give and take 2 mock interviews with the fellow RSP students. So just like what I said for the leak code, when the students are doing the mock interviews, you will do it in the same fashion that I described in detail in my previous talk. If you haven't watched it, make sure you go back and watch that. Like I said in the previous talk, the mock interviews will always start off with behavioral, then you'll do an easy leak code problem and a medium problem. And usually what happens is the students would organize a time with each other, they would connect, organize a 2-hour time slot, and they would make sure that one person gives an interview and one person receives it, and then they'll swap, and that would be one of their mock interviews for the week. And so it was a constant grind, and it definitely can get to the stage where it feels like it's just too exhausting, but that is the process in making sure that you learn all of this stuff thoroughly. You need to make sure that you're exposed to a lot of it, and this program just forces people to be exposed to a lot, and just basically make everyone do the required problem solving and mock interviews that they need to do. Right, so level promotions. So throughout the program, everyone starts off in beginner, and they move into novice, then into intermediate, and then into advanced. And for 2 of those promotions, so to get from level 1 to level 2, and to get from level 2 to level 3, we will be we'll be implementing a deadline. So all students need to be promoted by a certain date, and that date is to be determined. But the first promotion, first week of January, so you need to have all the theory read and studied, and you're ready for your promotion interview by the first week of January. And you need to be ready for your next promotion week 1 or 2 of February. I'm going to decide on that a bit later, but that won't affect people straight away because you guys will be busy getting the first promotion in the meantime. The first promotion, first level, everyone jumps in and starts studying the theory. And then in order to get promoted to the second level in the bootcamp, the students need to have finished the first 86 pages of cracking the coding interview. Then they need to have read the first 10 chapters of the algorithm design manual. And on top of these 2 theory book reading, the theory that the algorithm design manual teaches has some holes, and it's missing a few fundamental algorithms and data structures that are really important, and they're still very important to learn. So there is a list of some extra stuff to study, and once I send out all the documentation, that list will be provided in that documentation. But for example, I want everyone to understand how Dijkstra's shortest path finding algorithm works, the quick select algorithm, the union find data structure, and a few others. And I'm aware that some of you might be IP or OOP students, and that should be okay. What you have learnt should be enough for you to study this stuff and understand it, given that 90% of the people on the stage were OOP before they did RSP. So you will be fine if that's your level. If you've done more than OOP, then you should be fine. So once you have been promoted to the first level, you will then, so I'll go back 1 slide. So once you're in novice, then this is where you will start doing the leak code and the mock interview grinding every week. And once you want to progress past this level, then you will need to have done the following. You will need to have done 50 leak code total. So 50 leak code, I haven't set it on this slide, but there's a ratio. I want to have a certain amount of mediums, certain amount of hards, certain amount of easies. And everyone will need to have given and taken 10 mock interviews each. And I will know, and the instructors who give your promotion interviews will know if you have done it by tracking your spreadsheets. And that's a way for us to know whether or not you're ready to be promoted. On top of this, there is a behavioral spreadsheet. I spoke about this spreadsheet in my last talk. So I would want to see that everyone has filled out and finished this spreadsheet. And this spreadsheet is important to making sure that you ace all of your behavioral interviews. And something that I haven't mentioned, we'll get to this line, personal projects. So on top of the bootcamp, there's all these things you need to be doing. So you need to be studying the theory and practicing these algorithms and getting ready for your promotions. But at the same time, all the students need to be working on personal projects if they haven't got any. Because if you do this summer project, let's say you're an OOP student or you haven't done too much programming yet, and you want to apply for a big company application in March, and if you don't have any personal projects or you don't have any job or work experience on your resume, then it will be hard to get an interview from all the companies. So it's okay if you don't have work experience, but if you don't have work experience, you need to have a couple personal projects that you've worked on. That is something, so by the time you try and get this second promotion, and the official deadline for this will be like around first week of February, but by this point I expect that you guys will have done a personal project, so you need to work on this in your own time. And on top of that, I will want to see that all the code that you have worked on, so the personal projects that you've done, and any code that you've done throughout university, I would like to see, well, not like, it's a requirement to get the promotion. So I want that code uploaded to a GitHub account. The reason why GitHub's so important is because it's a way for interviewers to be able to access basically a database about yourself. And if an interviewer wants to see, can you code, have you done code, it's a way for them to quickly see that. So we need everyone to make sure they're uploading code to GitHub. And the last thing on this list is LinkedIn. And I think I might have actually missed something. Was a resume supposed to be a part of this one as well? Yeah, all right, I missed something on this list. So LinkedIn and resume. So what you have on your resume is often duplicated onto your resume. So I will want to see that everyone has a fully fleshed LinkedIn account and a resume. So that's the requirements to get the next promotion. And last one, so only 3 or maybe it was 4 people of last year's cohort actually reached this rank. Basically, to get to this rank, you need to double the leak code. So it says 100. That isn't 100 more. That's 100 total. So you did 50 to get to the previous rank, so another 50 to get to this rank. And same with the mock interviews. So basically, the leak code and the mock interview requirements stay the same. You just duplicate what you did the previous for the previous level. And I've also duplicated the behavioral questions spreadsheet. I rushed these slides, obviously, I've missed things. And to get to the second rank, I will need to see that you have done a second personal project. The more personal projects on the resume, the better, especially if you haven't got any work experience. So it's really important to convince those recruiters for those big tech companies to give you that interview. So that's the requirement to get to that second, to get to the 4th and final level. On top of this, there is a portfolio profile website. So when you're applying for these applications, like I mentioned in my last talk, when you're applying for these applications, sometimes they have a box where they ask you to supply a profile website or maybe any other website, and usually that's where you give them your personal profile website. I will be providing documentation on how to create a personal profile website. There are some templates. You don't have to code the whole thing from scratch. You can just copy and paste a template and switch out your name and your pictures for theirs. And and that will work. That's what I did for my very first profile website. So throughout the summer, we will be keeping an eye on some of the hackathons that are coming up. And if there are any other competitive programming events. And to get to this rank, you will also have to have shown that you have entered and competed in a competitive programming or hackathon or any coding style competition. And the last one is I will want everyone to apply to show evidence that you have either done community involvement in the past or you have applied for it this year. So not only are we teaching you how to pass these mock interviews and be good at algorithms, I'm actually crafting you all into being students who are more involved in the university. Because believe it or not, that is something that really matters. And the reason why community involvement is so important, 1, the recruiters like to see it, but 2, if you get involved in the community and get in contact with other students, other like-minded students who want to achieve similar things to you, or if you get involved in helping other people, then that by itself will give you a stream of benefits down the line. It will help introduce you to more recruiters. It will help get you connected to that one friend that you're studying with. It will help with many, many things, and recruiters love to see it. And I think it's really important as a part of this process. So that is one of the last things I will have had to see for you to get the final promotion in the program. So whilst you guys are doing the study program, you need to be recording all of your problem solving or your leak code problems in a spreadsheet. And I walked over a bit of how that works in my talk, but I'm going to show you the real thing here. So here is an example of what the spreadsheet that you guys will all be given. Even if you aren't successful in an application for this bootcamp, if you're not successful, you will still get all of this stuff. I will basically be releasing a Google Drive, and you guys can download the Google Drive, so you will have all of this for yourself, and I'll have a template so you guys can start straight away. So basically, whilst you're doing your LeetCode, you always must have a stopwatch, and you must time yourself, and the times that you complete your LeetCode problems in, you will always record them. And the reason why this is so important is, one, it's I don't want people to be hiding if they're not doing problems, or if people are doing well, I want them to show that, because all of these spreadsheets are actually not private. Within the study program, all of the other people who are currently internally doing the bootcamp, all of those people will be able to see each other's spreadsheets. And the reason why that's useful is often when one person or two people get together to give each other a mock interview, you don't want to be giving the other person a problem that they've done before. So a really easy thing to do is to just go to their spreadsheet, their LeetCode spreadsheet, have a search for that LeetCode problem, and if they've done it before, pick another one. And that's like one of the uses, but I just think openness is really important. So everyone has these spreadsheets and they're all open. Next one is, I talked about this whole system of grading each other doing mock interviews. So we have a spreadsheet, and every 2 lines is an interview. So the way this works is this spreadsheet is your own. So whenever someone gives you a mock interview, this would be your spreadsheet that you fill in. So all of your answers and how well you've performed will be in your own spreadsheet. And every 2 lines of the spreadsheet is a single interview. And the reason why it's 2 lines is because in a single interview, your mock interview partner is going to be giving you an easy and a medium LeetCode problem, and you'll want to grade both of those separately. And like I said in my previous talk, the rule of thumb is all of the scores from behavioral all the way to testing need to be a minimum of 5 to deem that mock interview as a pass. And like I've mentioned in the past, the reason for that is because it's important to make sure that you're aware of what you're bad at. And if you do very, very well in the algorithm and the coding portion, but you always mess up the behavioral, you shouldn't just keep passing those mock interviews. You should make sure that you go back and focus on the thing that's making you fail the mock interviews. So that's why we have this system. Signing up. We're making some good time, so I think we're going to be finishing a bit earlier, so we have some more time for questions. That's good. So how to sign up, and I did mention in the advertisement that if you weren't coming to this talk, please sign up using this link, and I know a few of you have already signed up. That's excellent, but everyone has to sign up using that link. I just thought it would be better for you guys to sign up after watching this talk, because I'm going to give you some information about it. And by the way, if some of you have signed up and you would like to amend your application, then feel free to go back to that link and you can change the application. If you have to submit again, that's fine. We're tracking for duplicates, so we're not going to consider you twice. That's fine. So anyways, some details about it. So 1st of November is the deadline. We need some time to pick the applicants. There is only about 12 of us instructing it, and we're going to be splitting the people that we're in charge of each. So basically what will happen is in the program you will be assigned an instructor or a mentor, and that person is going to be the one who is tracking your Monday updates. If you're falling behind, that's the person who's going to be in contact with you. Basically, they are going to be almost hosting you. And these are the people who will also be giving you your role promotion interviews. So because every one of these people who are going to be doing the teaching are all interning, and I'm doing my full-time master's research, we don't have full-time availability, so we can't take infinite amount of people. I would love to take all of you, and that would be awesome. And I really apologize in advance if unfortunately your name isn't someone who we select. But the things we're looking for in the application are, we are looking for people who really want to get an internship at one of these big tech companies. So if you just say, I want an internship at Google, that's probably what a lot of other people will say, and just say why. Like, why do you want to get an internship at Google? Is this something that you actually want? We're also looking for people who, or primarily, who can commit the full hours. I know that some of you can't commit, and we will be reading the applications. And if someone is an extremely strong candidate, but they are interning part-time, we will internally discuss that and treat each applicant case by case. So, but in general, primarily, we're looking for people that have full availability for the entire summer, because there is a lot of content to get through, and we are really focused on making sure that you're going to get a Google or a Facebook internship by March. So we would like as much time from you to make sure that you do all the work required. So that's my advice in applying. So I already mentioned, but I had a slide dedicated to the instructors. So each student is assigned an instructor, and they will be doing all the things that I've said they're going to do. So I've already said this slide. And like I've said before, if you're unsuccessful, or if you were doing the program but you pull out or you drop out, you will get access to all the material. So the entire study program, and so you can continue it at your own pace, or at the pace of the program. We will be giving everyone all of that documentation. Or if you want to, let's say that you're early on in your degree and you know you're going to be here for a while, so it's not crucial that you get your internship in March, and it might be next year because you might be here for a long time, then if you unfortunately don't get selected, then you have more time to follow through the program. So even if you don't get selected, this method and this structure that we have of training people to get into these companies still works. And if you follow it in your own time and you do everything that we have presented, and you really put in the effort to understand the problems and to follow it thoroughly, then you will have an excellent shot at getting into one of these companies anyway. So regardless, everyone wins, but unfortunately not everyone can get selected into the Discord and into the program. Without further ado, I'm going to bring everyone back on stage, and if you haven't signed up, pull out your phones. This link is the one that's posted. This link is the one that's posted on the advertisement. So you don't have to scan it right now, but if you want to, go ahead. But you will be able to access this from the advertisement. So a couple extra people have stood up on stage who I'm going to get to introduce themselves, who were working and they couldn't make it. So the first one is Josh. Is this on?
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Not used to these. I recognize a few people here. Guess a bit about myself. I started at the Uni of Adelaide in 2015 and took 6 years to do a 4-year degree. In that time, I guess, I tutored ADDS for, I think, 2.5 years. So I do recognize a few of you. Outside of that, I wish I had this program back in 2015 or 2016. I joined it last year and I went for a grad role, and I ended up getting one at Google, of all places. Everywhere else was a flat out no. So you will get a lot of no's, but it only takes just one yes, and then you're golden. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Sriram. I was an international student here in Adelaide University. I did my master's and I tutored ADDS last semester before I graduated. And I work as a software engineer at Atlassian. So I recently joined Atlassian in July. So it's been a good time, and I really thank Ravi for this program because that helped me get a lot of mock interviews and also helped me clear a lot more company interviews. And I finally chose one before I chose Atlassian. Thank you very much, and looking forward to seeing you all.
All right. So what's going to happen is is this on? Yeah. Whenever someone asks a question, I'm just going to repeat it in the mic for the recording. So hands up and we'll just point at people, and then also make sure that you don't just direct your questions at me. Please ask questions for all of us, because these are the students who have gone through the grind and who have gone through what you guys are potentially going to be going through this summer. So definitely direct questions at these guys as well as me. So hands up. Okay, first one. So the question was, how many people can we accept? And what we're looking at right now is maybe around 10 people per instructor, and we have around 12 instructors. We're not sure on that yet. We're going to make a final decision on that once the deadline for applications has finished. Blurry answer, it might be around 100, 120 now, but we're going to make a decision a bit later on that one. So the question is, when does it start and when it ends? Sorry, this question is still for me. The bootcamp is going to start on the 22nd of November, so the week after the last exam will finish, and the bootcamp will end 25th of February, the week before university goes back. So the whole summer, and there is a break for Christmas and New Year, so there's a week break in there for that. Cool. We'll get through everyone, so just keep your hands up, and I'll just go through everyone. You here? So will you have, the question was, will you have interviews after this application? I think it's a question that someone else can answer. So, someone else?
I'm sorry, could you repeat the question?
Will they have interviews after this application process, after RSP? So do you want to explain how?
No, so...
Yeah, it's on.
Once you're accepted, the interviews that we give are only for the role promotions, which Ravi talked about before. So we don't have, we'll base whether you get in on your application, and then there'll be interviews to test your knowledge throughout the program for the different role levels. Does that answer your question?
Someone else? The front here?
Yeah, I just wanted to say, well, once again, thanks for this opportunity, and congratulations to all of you guys. But do you guys do group projects throughout the course? And if not, have you guys done any group projects together after or outside?
So the question was, do we do group projects? Did we do it throughout the summer, and do we still do it now? Hold on, bring the mic for the recording.
All right.
The recording.
All right, so regarding group projects, I'm not entirely sure, but I think some of you do some group projects together. But yeah, as you mentioned, the biggest advantage of doing RSP instead of preparing on your own, I would say, is that you have all of these comrades who are also preparing with you. And to be honest, during the RSP progress, there were some times that I got demotivated and got lazy as well, but it was thanks to the people who do mock interviews with me that I pull myself through and achieve what I achieved. So yeah, that's the biggest reason that you should join RSP.
I think some other people can also answer that though. I know there are some other people who were working on group projects, so I know that you guys were working together outside of... Yeah. So talk about like the thing you're doing over the summer with Shane.
Yeah, I mean, I guess a few of us started a bit of a startup, which is, I didn't go too far on it. Other people worked harder on it, but it was something for resume, I guess. So you can do something like that. I know lots of other people got groups together, did really in-depth projects. I know some people did like an app, stuff like that. So you can, definitely ask around the server once you get in there. See if anyone else needs a personal project, and you can definitely find some people to help you with that.
And we have a channel dedicated for personal projects, so you will be able to connect with and find people. Yep, cool. Next question. To the left over here.
In your video, that was a prerequisite to watch. You said that one of the biggest factors in getting an internship is having connections with people previously. How many of you guys actually needed a connection, and if so, how'd you get it?
Maybe someone else can answer that.
Yeah, so just for the recording, the question was, how do you go about getting the connections that are not required but helpful in getting a job at these big companies? So in my time in the program, we were kind of told that if you made it to the advanced role, you would be able to get a referral to some of these major companies from the people that were in the Discord that are already working there. And I believe we're still doing something along the lines of that.
Yeah, so the plan is if you make it to the end, we will be doing what we can to help connect you guys, the ones who finish it, the ones who get all the way to the end, with Google and Facebook and Microsoft employees to get some referrals. So we help with that. Question in the middle here.
Did any of you lads manage to graduate the program in far less than 30 hours?
Maybe someone else can answer that?
Yeah.
Do you wanna?
You could answer that.
Yeah.
So, there were a few days where we've done, I graduated with Novus or something, but I would not recommend that to everyone because before I took up RSP, I also did 600 problems on lead code.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
So I would not recommend that to everyone and also had job experience. And there's another question about connections. So I got 3 job offers and all the 3 job offers were by applying through LinkedIn and by applying to the roles. All the 3 that I've actually got were through roles. And these were the companies that actually mattered because they were the top. But there were a lot of not so top companies where I applied. But yeah, just write a good cover letter. Everybody likes to read about themselves.
I think multiple people can answer that one. Yeah. You as well.
Yeah, so that's me getting called out because I didn't probably do the required hours all the time. I would say like it is an expectation that you do the hours, and really you're only letting yourself down if you don't, especially if you don't have like some kind of prior knowledge. Because I found that, and a lot of the guys will agree with me on this, that the best part of the program, because you can take away the documentation and go on your own, but a major benefit of the program was sort of being held to that strict kind of amount of hours every week. And it found that, in someone like myself who hasn't opened a single university lecture in the time I've been at uni, that was really helpful for me to kind of stick to the program for the most part.
Hello. Another point about graduating the program. It doesn't. I would say that it doesn't matter if you graduate or not. What matters is that you put in the effort and continuously improve, because like the more work you put in, the more likely you are to get an offer. So it's not about once you get to this mark, you definitely get a job. There's no such thing. You have to keep working. That's just part of the deal. Like there's no such thing as graduation. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind.
Fun fact, I think there's like quite some of us here, like I think today, that only got up to the, I think the novice role. Yeah, but we still, in the end, we got like really awesome internship offers in the end. I think like there are definitely times that you feel like you can't put in like the full 30 hours into the program. And everybody learns at different paces. You just gotta make sure that, it's quality learning time. You just gotta understand everything that you haven't heard of, like, so that you can properly solve the problems like during interviews or whatever. Yeah, so if you just like look at one legal problem and you don't know how to properly solve it, and you put in like so many hours into it, it's not even it's not gonna be even better than putting the quality time to study for less maybe. So yeah, pretty much.
Cool. Next question, okay. Maybe someone from the back top right. Yeah, you. The question was, did any of us take summer classes while doing the program? Not that I know of. They might have done it in secret without telling me.
I mean,
is there anyone?
Yeah,
anyone here? Oh, yes. Hello. Do you want to get the mic? We have another addition. I'll let him give an introduction, and he can answer your question.
Yeah, so hi guys, my name is Matthew. I was a member of Ravi's study program last year, or started this year. I interviewed at Optiva and Google, and I received offers from both, but I'll be interning at Google this year. So yeah, I did do a summer subject at the same time, as well as a summer research scholarship in computer science. So that was a lot of work. I actually ended up leaving the program a bit early. And so I went into, you've probably talked about the offline mode, where it was like, I had all the information and I sort of worked through it at my own pace when I could. And so yeah, it's a tough program. Like, it's going to put in, you're going to require a lot of effort. It's possible, but it will be tough, basically.
Yeah, possible, but very tough. All right, next question. Someone from the right, maybe, again. Yep, yourself. So the question is, do we have project ideas that you guys can work on throughout the summer program? Someone else, maybe who hasn't answered yet, could answer that one? If you want to. Or anyone can answer. Yep.
So I have I generally follow Notion. I have few ideas that I kind of get like whenever. So I can share the page when the Discord group. Like one of the ideas is how can you create a front-end app to say what is your ikigai, like what's your passion, what you're good at. So why don't you just jot it down in list and it creates a visual diagram for it, so that you can concentrate on what you want to do, actually do the most. This is for people who have a lot to do and very confused on what they want to do. So it's an example project, and there are a couple of ideas here and there. So I think. I think we can help you over there.
Yeah, I think we have another, someone who wants to.
I think part of your question is that you haven't got much experience with this stuff before. I would say that is part of the reason why the program exists, because we are here to show you the stuff that you need to do in order to get an interview, and then once you got an interview, how do you pass it? So yeah, don't be afraid, just apply, and as long as in your application you show us that you're really committed, willing to do the work, and you know, that then we would definitely consider your application. And regarding project ideas, one way you can do projects is you can do the summer research internship. Maybe the formal application process has already passed, but I think you can still email some of the lecturers. Maybe they still have the projects that haven't got students yet. So that's one way. Sorry, what? A grad cert.
A graduate certificate. Yeah, that's fine. Like, we're taking people from any, you know, you don't have to be PhD, undergrad. You don't have to be any. As long as you're here and you want to learn, you can get in. When I was interning at Google, the person who sat next to me had just graduated from Year 12, and he was doing online competitions, and he managed to get a job that way. So you don't actually have to have a degree to get into Google or some of these companies. So that's fine. If you want to learn, we'll take you, we'll teach you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll double down on the summer research scholarship. Like, if you guys can apply, that'll be like super great, because I had like so much to talk about in my like interviews and stuff. So yeah, if the applications are still open, feel free to apply. Yeah.
Maybe someone from the middle now. Yep, you. So the question was, personal projects, what matters? Does complexity of the project matter? Or the creativity? Someone's answer that. Maybe. Do you want to,
Can I?
Well, maybe Hamish.
Yeah, I guess I would say that what matters is how much you can talk about it to your interviewer. They'll quiz you.